Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke Uchiha awakened his Mangekyo Sharingan after his life-or-death battle with Itachi, when the truth about his brother's past and sacrifice was finally revealed. That moment of pain and awakening became the catalyst that unlocked Sasuke's new power. Sasuke's Mangekyo Sharingan pattern features 3 interlocking ellipses, symbolizing his complex inner transformation. From these eyes, Sasuke inherited Amaterasu from Itachi, the black flames that burn all they touch, but surpassed his brother by awakening Kagutsuchi, a unique technique that allows him to manipulate the shape, trajectory, and even extinguish the Amaterasu flames at will. This control served not only defensive purposes, such as when Sasuke used the flames to block the Raikage, but also became a devastating offensive weapon. He could create spears, shields, chakra projectiles, and even cloak his entire Susanoo in black fire, incinerating anything that made contact. During the 5 Kage summit attack, Sasuke pushed both Amaterasu and Kagutsuchi to their limits, forcing the combined Kage to fight defensively. Sasuke also demonstrated exceptional mastery when he used Kagutsuchi to extinguish the Amaterasu that was burning Karin, saving her life in a split second, something Itachi himself had never done. The combination of these 2 techniques would later evolve even further when Sasuke merged his powers with Naruto's Rasen Shuriken, creating a combined assault capable of devastating the Ten Tails. Sasuke's Susanoo initially manifested in partial forms, a ribcage for defense or a massive arm for offense. Over time, it evolved into a fully formed warrior with muscle, skin, and heavy armor. During the 4th Great Ninja War, after receiving the 6 Paths Chakra from Hagoromo Otsutsuki, Sasuke manifested his perfect Susanoo, a gigantic construct with power rivaling that of the tailed beasts. Its signature weapon was a chakra bow capable of firing arrows imbued with both black flames and lightning. His most powerful technique, Indra's arrow, is regarded as the ultimate attack within Sasuke's entire arsenal. Like Madara, Sasuke once merged his Susanoo with Kurama, cloaking the 9 tails in Susanoo armor and arming it with a colossal sword, forming a nearly unstoppable fusion entity. Even though Sasuke later awakened the Rinnegan and reached new heights of power, the Mangekyo Sharingan remained the foundation that shaped both his fighting style and his entire philosophy. With Amaterasu, Kagutsuchi, and Susanoo, Sasuke stands as one of the most formidable Mangekyo Sharingan users in the entire history of the Uchiha clan. Itachi Uchiha awakened his Mangekyo Sharingan after witnessing the death of his closest friend, Shisui Uchiha, a profound psychological shock that occurred shortly before the Uchiha clan massacre. From that moment on, Itachi gained access to the 3 legendary abilities of the Mangekyo Sharingan: Tsukuyomi, Amaterasu, and Susanoo. Among them, Tsukuyomi was Itachi's ultimate genjutsu, and is considered one of the most lethal illusion techniques ever created. Tsukuyomi allows him to manipulate time within an illusionary realm, forcing victims to experience hours or even days of psychological torture in just a few seconds in the real world. During his battle with Kakashi, Itachi used Tsukuyomi to subject him to 72 hours of mental torment, leaving Kakashi completely incapacitated in an instant. This genjutsu is nearly impossible to resist through physical means, and only those with exceptionally strong Sharingan or pure Uchiha bloodlines can endure even part of its effects. Sasuke was one of the rare few able to withstand Tsukuyomi, though he could not completely escape its influence. The second ability is Amaterasu, the black flames that incinerate everything until the target is completely reduced to ashes. The flames are summoned directly at the point of Itachi's gaze, making them nearly impossible to evade. Itachi used Amaterasu to escape Jiraiya's demonic illusion, Toad confrontation chant, and later in several battles, including neutralizing Sasuke's attacks and burning away Nagato's summons after being revived by Ito Tensei. These flames cannot be extinguished by normal means and can only be sealed, showcasing the overwhelming destructive power of Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan. The third technique is Susanoo, but unlike any other, Itachi's Susanoo wields 2 divine treasures, the Totsuka no Tsurugi, a sword capable of sealing anyone it pierces into an eternal illusionary realm, and the Yata no Kagami, a shield that nullifies all attacks by altering its chakra nature to perfectly counter them. With absolute offense and defense, Itachi's Susanoo is regarded as one of the most complete and enigmatic forms in the entire series. However, the continuous use of the Mangekyo Sharingan came with a heavy price. Itachi's eyesight deteriorated severely over time, eventually leaving him nearly blind. Each use of his techniques consumed massive amounts of chakra, further worsened by the terminal illness he secretly endured. Only after being resurrected through Edo Tensei was Itachi able to fight at his full potential. No longer bound by the limits of his mortal body, he freely unleashed Tsukuyomi, Amaterasu, and Susanoo. proving that during his lifetime, he had never truly shown the full extent of his power. Sarada Uchiha awakened her Mangekyo Sharingan at just 12 years old, a rare feat in the entire history of the Uchiha clan. But what makes this awakening truly extraordinary is not her age, but the emotion that triggered it. Unlike most of her predecessors, who unlocked their Mangekyo after the loss of a loved one, Sarada's eyes evolved from a completely different emotion, overwhelming fear and despair at the thought of losing Boruto forever. During the time when Ida manipulated the memories of the entire world, making everyone believe Kawaki was Naruto's real son and Boruto was a traitor, Sarada was one of the few who retained the truth. It was her unshakable will to protect someone dear to her that awakened her Mangekyo not from sorrow, but from love. Sarada's Mangekyo Sharingan has a unique design, a radiant sun pattern with a central circle and 8 outward rays, symbolizing brilliance and a form of awakening completely distinct from the clan's tragic tradition. In Boruto, 2 Blue Vortex, specifically in Chapter 20, Sarada revealed the special ability of her Mangekyo Sharingan for the first time, Ohirume, a technique that harnesses the power of a miniature black hole. She can create energy spheres that generate their own gravitational fields, acting as centers of gravity control. This technique allows her to manipulate objects and living beings within its range, pulling or repelling targets toward the sphere. Moreover, she can selectively determine who is affected and who remains immune, granting her precise control over the entire battlefield. By applying the gravitational field to herself, Sarada can neutralize gravity's effects, effectively enabling her to fly and maneuver freely in midair. The terrifying aspect of Ohirume lies in its offensive potential. If a target comes into direct contact with the sphere, the gravitational force spikes instantly, causing a localized spatial collapse that crushes the victim in an instant. Sarada used this ability during her battle against Shinju Ryu, saving her teammates from annihilation and demonstrating perfect control even in a hostile environment. With just one ability, she has proven that her Mangekyo Sharingan may stand among the strongest eyes ever seen. For now, Ohirume remains the only known ability of Sarada's Mangekyo Sharingan. She has yet to display Susanoo, or a secondary power, which most Mangekyo users possess. However, given her ability to influence space and gravity, many theories suggest that Sarada possesses the potential to manipulate space-time on a high level, similar to Obito's Kamui. The emergence of this Mangekyo Sharingan could mark the beginning of a new era for the Uchiha clan, one where eyes are no longer born from hatred and loss, but from love and unwavering loyalty. This evolution symbolizes a profound transformation, reflecting the complex yet hopeful nature of Sarada herself. Shisui Uchiha was one of the rare young prodigies of the Uchiha clan who awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan at a very early age. Although the exact details of how he obtained his eyes were never revealed, Shisui's rapid growth in strength and skill quickly established him as one of the most exceptional Uchiha of his era. The most remarkable ability of Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan was Kotoamatsukami, an ultimate genjutsu regarded as the most powerful illusion technique in Uchiha history. Unlike Tsukuyomi, which traps the victim in a world of psychological torture, Kotoamatsukami allows the user to manipulate the target's will without leaving any trace of external interference. The implanted command surfaces naturally within the victim's mind as if it were their own thought, making detection or resistance virtually impossible. Shisui could activate this technique from long range and even influence multiple targets simultaneously without direct eye contact. However, the only major limitation of Kotoamatsukami was its extremely long cooldown period. Each eye required several years before it could be used again. This restriction made Shisui's eyes invaluable and highly sought after. With that power, Shisui planned to prevent the Uchiha clan coup by using Kotoamatsukami on Fugaku Uchiha, the clan leader, to erase his intent to rebel. However, Danzo Shimura, driven by ambition, stole one of Shisui's eyes. Later on, Danzo used that same eye during the 5 Kage summit to manipulate Mifune, proving just how terrifyingly effective Kotoamatsukami truly was. Before his death, Shisui entrusted his remaining eye to Itachi, believing he would use it to protect Konoha. That faith was fulfilled when Itachi, resurrected through Edo Tensei, was freed from Kabuto's control by the crow imbued with Shisui's eye, demonstrating that Kotoamatsukami was powerful enough to override even forbidden resurrection techniques. According to extended sources, Shisui had also achieved the level of Susanoo, which manifested as a deep green warrior with a majestic appearance and a red Magatama gem embedded in its chest. Although this form appeared only in game adaptations supervised by Masashi Kishimoto himself, it does not contradict the manga canon, implying that Shisui had at least attained a partial Susanoo form. Obito Uchiha awakened his Mangekyo Sharingan at the most painful moment of his life. when he witnessed Rin Nohara, the girl he loved, die right before his eyes during the Third Great Ninja War. The overwhelming emotional trauma caused his eyes to awaken, and what's truly remarkable is that despite only having his right eye left, the emotional surge was strong enough to simultaneously awaken the left eye that Obito had previously given to Kakashi. This detail highlights the deep connection between the two and the mysterious resonance shared by their Mangekyo Sharingan. From that moment, Obito gained Kamui, one of the most powerful space-time ninjutsu ever known in the shinobi world. The technique is divided into two distinct forms corresponding to each eye: Obito's Kamui and Kakashi's Kamui. Obito's Kamui is the short-range version. He can render parts or even his entire body intangible by transporting them into the Kamui dimension, allowing him to completely evade all physical attacks. Thanks to this ability, Obito became nearly invincible, able to move freely between dimensions and transform himself into a shinobi who was almost untouchable. Kakashi's Kamui, on the other hand, is the long-range version. He can create spatial portals that absorb objects, attacks, or even people into the Kamui dimension. Even while wielding only half the power of the pair, Kakashi demonstrated incredible mastery, warping away Pain's attacks, severing Deidara's arm, and even erasing parts of the Geto statue's body. During the Fourth Great Ninja War, Kamui revealed its full potential. Obito used the technique to evade attacks, travel between battlefields, and teleport both allies and enemies into the Kamui dimension at will. In the final stages of the war, he even used Kamui to rescue Sasuke Uchiha from one of Kaguya Tsutsuki's dimensions. As for Kakashi, he pushed Kamui to its absolute limit. He continuously used it to warp weapons, objects, and even tailed beasts into another space, allowing him to counter god-level techniques such as truth-seeking balls wielded by those with Six Paths power. Through this ability, Kakashi saved himself and his comrades countless times, proving that Kamui is one of the most powerful and versatile space-time techniques in the entire ninja world. In the final phase of the war, Obito's spirit entrusted Kakashi with both Mangekyo Sharingan, enabling him to summon a perfect Susanoo and use Kamui Shuriken, a technique that allowed him to hurl shuriken imbued with Kamui's space-time vortex, which he used effectively in battle against Kaguya Tsutsuki, demonstrating devastating results on the battlefield. When the war ended, Kakashi lost both Mangekyo Sharingan, closing the legendary journey of the Copy Ninja. Yet, Kamui remains regarded as the most complete ability among all Mangekyo Sharingan techniques, a power that embodies offense, defense, and transcendence of space itself, and serves as an eternal testament to the unbreakable bond between Obito and Kakashi. Izuna Uchiha, Izuna Madara's younger brother, was one of the first two Uchiha to awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan. Both brothers attained this power after experiencing the deepest tragedy imaginable, the loss of their most beloved person. Although the manga never revealed the specific dojutsu techniques Izuna possessed, simply reaching the level of the Mangekyo Sharingan was enough to make him one of the most fearsome warriors of his era. The pattern in Izuna's eyes featured 3 straight lines radiating from the pupil, and with that power, he and Madara led the Uchiha clan into its golden age. In the manga's flashbacks, it's stated that much like his brother, Izuna also sacrificed his closest friend to awaken his eyes. Many fans believe Izuna might have mastered techniques such as Amaterasu or Kagutsuchi, since Tobirama demonstrated prior knowledge of these abilities when he witnessed Sasuke using them. Moreover, the fact that Izuna was among the very few ninja with a Mangekyo Sharingan that Tobirama ever encountered further supports this theory. What truly made Izuna exceptional was not only his power, but his unwavering loyalty to his brother. Before his death, he willingly donated his eyes to Madara, allowing him to awaken the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and carry on the Uchiha clan's will. Madara Uchiha was the first in Uchiha history to awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan, marking a turning point that forever changed the destiny of the entire clan. He awakened these eyes after losing someone dear to him, and from that moment became the absolute leader of the Uchiha during the Warring States period. Madara's Mangekyo pattern, known as Choku Tomoe, became synonymous with his terrifying reputation on the battlefield. However, the series never confirmed any unique techniques exclusive to Madara's Mangekyo, apart from the ability to summon Susanoo. Even in its incomplete skeletal form, his Susanoo was powerful enough to block devastating attacks such as Naruto's Odama Rasengan or the sheer physical strength of the Raikage. When reaching its fully realized form, Madara's Susanoo evolved into a massive 4-armed warrior with power comparable to that of the tailed beasts. Madara was capable of unleashing Yasaka Magatama to cause large-scale destruction, and even went so far as to combine his Susanoo with Kurama, cloaking the Nine Tails in a layer of chakra armor to create an almost unstoppable weapon of destruction. Some games, such as Naruto, Ultimate Ninja Storm, have mentioned that Madara could manipulate time, with his right eye memorizing and analyzing movements, while his left eye could reverse time to nullify attacks, though this information is non-canon. After his eyesight began to deteriorate, Madara transplanted Izuna's eyes and became the first to awaken the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. This evolution granted him the peak of his power with perfect Susanoo, solidifying his status as an invincible warrior. Although Masashi Kishimoto never revealed any exclusive techniques tied specifically to Madara's eyes, it does not diminish the fact that he remains one of the most powerful Uchiha in history. Shin Uchiha. Although he often referred to himself as Shin Uchiha, he was in reality not a member of the Uchiha clan. Shin was the result of Orochimaru's genetic experiments, possessing a unique biological structure that allowed him to transplant and adapt to multiple Sharingan eyes embedded across his body. His obsession with the Uchiha, especially Itachi, led him to adopt their name, imitate their attire, and even create an army of cloned versions of himself. Shin's Mangekyo Sharingan featured a circular pattern with 3 pointed edges, appearing not only in his main pair of eyes but also in the transplanted ones across his body, his clones, and his living test subjects. The special ability of his eyes allowed him to telekinetically control any metallic object marked by his chakra. This power enabled him to manipulate weapons mid-air, alter their trajectories, and even perform self-surgery with precision. Additionally, Shin possessed the ability to open spatial portals, allowing him to move instantaneously between pre-linked locations, a technique somewhat similar to Obito's Kamui. Though far more limited, he could not access alternate dimensions or achieve intangibility. Instead, he could only teleport rapidly between fixed points on Earth, typically entrances connected to his own hideouts. In combat, Shin demonstrated exceptional coordination with his prosthetic limbs and weapons, reshaping terrain and even manipulating large structures to gain tactical advantage. However, he did not possess Susanoo or any Mangekyo techniques related to high-level genjutsu or dimensional manipulation. Although he caused considerable trouble during the early stages of the Boruto era, Shin was ultimately defeated with ease by Sakura, Sasuke, and Naruto. He remains an intriguing Mangekyo Sharingan user from a biological and ability standpoint, yet lacks the conviction and depth necessary to be a lasting threat. Indra Otsutsuki. Indra Otsutsuki was the first person in history to awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan. Although the anime depicts him killing his close friends to awaken it, that scene is considered filler and does not appear in the main canon storyline. In the anime, it appears as a 5-pointed star similar to Sasuke's, but in the manga, it is illustrated with a spiral-like pattern which is believed to be the more accurate depiction. Unlike most of his successors, Indra seemed unaffected by the blindness curse typically associated with the Mangekyo Sharingan. This has led to the theory that he may have possessed eternal light from the beginning, a perfect pair of eyes that required no transplantation. This also explains why Indra is regarded as the direct inheritor of the Sage of Six Paths' ocular power, while his younger brother Ashura inherited the sage's body and chakra. Though the exact details of his techniques were never fully described, Indra demonstrated 2 prominent abilities linked to his Mangekyo Sharingan. The first was Hinokagutsuchi, a black flame ninjutsu nearly identical in nature to Amaterasu, unleashed from his left eye with devastating destructive power. The second was his ability to summon a massive Susanoo, whose form and fighting style closely resembled that of Sasuke's in later generations. This Susanoo eventually evolved into Perfect Susanoo, capable of clashing evenly with Ashura's chakra avatar. Indra's mastery over the Mangekyo Sharingan reached an almost divine level, making him the very first symbol of both the power and the tragedy bound to the Uchiha bloodline. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos.